So welcome everybody. I'm going to begin with our land acknowledgement. So Ontario Tech University acknowledges the lands and people of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation. We are thankful to be welcomed on these lands in friendship. The lands we are situated on are covered under the Williams Treaties and the traditional territory of the Mississaugas, a branch of the Greater Anishinaabeg Nation, including Algonquin, Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi. These lands remain home to a number of Indigenous nations and people. We acknowledge this land out of respect for the Indigenous nations who have cared for Turtle Island, also called North America, from before the arrival of settler peoples until this day. Most importantly, we remember the history of these lands has been tainted by poor treatment and a lack of friendship with the First Nations who call them home. This history is something we are all affected by, as we are all treaty people in Canada. We all have a shared history to reflect on, and each of us is affected by this history in different ways. Our past defines our present, but if we move forward as friends and allies, then it does not have to define our future. Okay, so my name is Kate Neathouse, and I am the Graduate Student Engagement Coordinator at the School of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies. Over the past few months, I have worked with this amazing group of graduate students who are presenting their research today. I've seen firsthand the dedication, academic rigor, and drive to our drive that our students have as they've worked tirelessly in their preparation for this event. So I commend you all on your hard work and passion, and I cannot wait to cheer you all on today. I'd also like to welcome and sincerely thank our judges for joining us at today's competition. We have Craig Dubois, President at Noble Estates, Emma McGarry-Ware, Manager of Innovation at the Regional Municipality of Durham, Eric Johnson, Chief Innovation Officer with the Nuclear Innovation Institution. We have Howard Goodfellow. We have Larkin Moscrop, Project Manager with Canadian Nuclear Laboratories and our bronze sponsor. We also have Tammy Cause joining us. I would also like to thank our sponsors, without whom this competition would not be possible. Thank you for helping to put graduate research in the spotlight. Scotiabank is our gold sponsor. St. Mary Cement and Alexicon Energy are our silver sponsors, and Canadian Nuclear Laboratories is our bronze sponsor. So just a few housekeeping items before we start. Please be sure to keep your mic muted. For our participants, please only unmute your mic when I introduce you and prompt you to begin your presentation. When I call on you, just confirm that you're ready so we know your mic is working, and then we will start the timer. Please mute your mic once you've finished your presentation. So being mindful of our mics will ensure that no background noise will interfere or interrupt our participants. And please also try and avoid using the chat feature during the presentations. We want to eliminate any potential distractions for our participants. So today our judges will be scoring our participants on the categories of comprehension, communication, and engagement. So the rules are as follows. 1 static slide, no props, no electronic media. We're limited to 3 minutes, must be spoken, must be memorized, and the judges have the final say. After each presentation, we will be giving the judges about 1.5 minutes to complete their scorecards before the next presentation starts. At the end of all presentations today, our judges will pick our top 6 finalists to move on to the finals tomorrow, Thursday, March 24th. At the finals, first place will win $1,000 and represent Ontario Tech at the regional competition at the University of Guelph on May 4th. Second place will receive $500 and third place will receive $250. So we invite you to watch our 6 finalists via Zoom webinar tomorrow. And the finals will start at 2:30 p.m. Okay, let's start our 2022 competition. Danielle, brave Danielle, going very first. I would like to introduce our first presenter, Danielle Bates, pursuing a Master's of Health Sciences in Kinesiology, presenting Moving Towards Inclusive and Engaging Physical Education for Girls. In addition to her academics, Danielle is also a dance educator and choreographer, teaching at studios and various kids programming across Durham and Northumberland regions. When she isn't working on her thesis or dancing, she can be found hiking and camping with her golden doodle pup. Welcome, Danielle.
Hello.
Hi, I can hear you. Yeah. Okay, how are you feeling?
Excited.
Yes. Great. Okay. I'll let you get started then. Take it away.
Okay, hello, my name is Danielle. I would like you to take a moment to picture your 12-year-old self in PE class. Do you remember the way that those rubber dodgeballs smelled? or maybe remember the sound of bouncing basketballs and squeaky runners on the gym floor. For some of you, PE class was the best day of the week and it hosted great memories of sport and physical activity. But for others, you might have experienced exclusion, unfamiliarity, and perhaps discrimination. Physical education is an effective means of providing all children and youth with the skills, knowledge, and understanding for lifelong physical activity. Despite this, physical education has been recognized for its marginalization of many student groups, including girls. Now, I do recognize that teaching physical education is no easy job. Imagine facilitating sports and activities every other day for 20 to 30 energetic children with varying abilities, talents, and interests. And on top of that, it's also expected that PE is fun, inclusive, and evidence-based. Considering that, a surprising fact is that 63% of elementary PE classes in Canada are not taught by PE specialists, which means that most of the time, generalist teachers are teaching PE with no specialized knowledge, training, or support. Additionally, research has shown that some teachers are still using outdated teaching practices that perpetuate gender stereotypes and the notion that girls are inferior in physical activity contexts. Not surprisingly, to this day, some girls continue to become disengaged during PE and lose interest in physical activity as they age. Now, despite this, there is a plethora of research that has generated evidence-based teaching practices that can include girls in physical education. For example, we know that valuing student voices, promoting healthy peer relationships, and using gender-inclusive language are effective ways to welcome girls in PE. However, translating this knowledge from research to practice has yet to be done. To our knowledge, there are no professional development opportunities or ongoing support for teachers with the aim of challenging gender inequity in physical education. So that's where my research comes in. We're exploring the professional development needs of teachers to teach inclusive and engaging PE for girls. We're conducting a qualitative inquiry using focus groups and interviews to gather information on teachers' knowledge, attitudes, and practices. We will then make recommendations for future professional development opportunities that can support teachers in supporting our girls. Professional development for teachers is the next step in moving towards inclusive PE for girls, because we've known that gender bias exists within sports and physical education for decades. So now it's time to support our teachers if we want to see real comprehensive change across all classrooms. Girls deserve to be included and valued in physical education so that they can experience the benefits of a healthy and active life and never have to doubt that they belong in any physical activity opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. Okay, we'll now just give the judges a few moments to complete their scorecards. Okay, I'm just now going to begin to introduce our next participant. So we have Oluwabukola Adeboro, pursuing a Master's of Applied Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering, presenting Identifying Faults in Industrial Computed Tomography Scans Using Deep Learning. Oluwabukola is passionate about volunteering, making a positive impact, and spending time with loved ones and baking, my favorite. So welcome.
Thank you very much, Caitlin.
How are you feeling?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. Okay, are you all ready to get started?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
So thank you. In the nuclear power plant, appropriate maintenance and inspection procedures are essential to promote operational safety as well as performance enhancement. Now, these procedures are also important so as to ensure timely detection and monitoring of faults, increased safety capability, as well as also reliability. Now, this is also subject to a number of factors, and one of them involves the right use of equipment or tool. In this case, the tool has to be in good shape, and failure to do so could result in decreased productivity and oftentimes higher repair costs. Now, to avoid this in the nuclear station, the tool is inspected before and after use. The tool is inspected before and after use, and one thing to note is that these tools can range from smaller tools even up onto larger complex tools. And the tool inspection process is also manual. So this also means that this inspection process can last for minutes and even up until days. So because of that, as a result, aside from this inspection process lasting for minutes, even up until days, uh, even up until days. Hence, this is where our research comes in. So, our research aims to automate this tool inspection process, and in automating this tool inspection process, we use artificial intelligence, specifically deep learning algorithms. And these deep learning algorithms are also used while saving time as well as ensuring tool efficiency and longevity. Now, another step or an added step that also comes into this tool inspection process is that the these tools or the computer tomography scans of these tools are used so as to identify both internal and external defects. Now, uh, okay, I think in addition to that as well, to also identify these faults, now these tools are used as input. The computer tomography scans rather are used as inputs to a deep neural network. And this deep neural convolutional neural network extracts the features of this computer tomography scans, and it identifies if the tool belongs to a complete tool or either it belongs to a missing tool. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Great job. We're sorry about the slide difficulty, but you handled it like a champ.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll now just give the judges a few moments to complete their scorecards. Okay, I'm now going to introduce our next participant, Sarah Pistrito, pursuing a Master's of Health Sciences in Community, Public, and Population Health, presenting Designing a Rehabilitation Program for Mild to Moderate Dementia Patients. Sarah grew up in Markham, Ontario, enjoys being active, playing sports, baking, and painting. Sarah also has a rescue dog named Coco. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
A little nervous, but I'm good.
It's gonna be great. Okay, you all ready?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Picture this. Your house is on fire and there's only one thing you could save. What would you save? Most of us would probably save a memory. But this is different for those diagnosed with dementia. They don't get to pick and choose which memories are kept. They simply just have to watch memories fade away. What if you suddenly couldn't remember a loved one's face or where you put the car keys? What if you kept getting confused, disorientated, and frustrated, but there was nothing you could do about it? What if each time you drank from a cup of water, it shook because of a loss of motor skills? Now imagine you're being told this because of your brain and that there is no cure or treatment. How would you feel then? Many of you probably know someone who is diagnosed with dementia and have seen just how hard they battle every day. But what if I told you there was a way to relearn things we once forgot or lost? Let's go back in time. As kids, we learned most by doing, and this is also known as motor learning. And through motor learning, we have the capacity to learn and refine new skills by practicing them. Our brains are constantly adapting to new environments and stimuli. This is our body's natural neuroplasticity at work. So what if we utilize these two principles to stimulate the brain to adapt or respond to new environments, to relearn abilities that were once lost or forgotten? What if the same principles we naturally used as kids could also be used in older age to promote motor learning, function, and memory? But now let's add a twist. We know the foundation, but how do we generate a neural response? Cognitive stimulation is how. Cognitive stimulation allows an individual with dementia to complete a wide range of activities. This can be matching, strategy games, or puzzles to strengthen their cognitive abilities and functioning by preserving their cognitive skills. And when this is implemented with physical activity, we can teach ourselves new behaviors or actions through motor learning and task-specific training. But how do we mimic this in a clinical setting? Exergaming is how. Exergaming combines exercise and gaming to stimulate the brain through cognitive stimulation and physical activity in the form of Zumba to slow cognitive decline. In a 45-minute session, participants will be challenged physically and cognitively to promote the restoration of memories and their cognitive abilities. Together, it is hypothesized that cognitive stimulation with motor practice could potentially facilitate a neural response and promote plasticity. which in turn would help slow the progression of cognitive decline in mild to moderate dementia patients. The aim of my research is to offer persons with dementia a treatment plan to help slow cognitive decline and improve abilities that were once lost. So let's go back in time and learn like we were kids again. Let's bring back some hope to dementia sufferers and their families, and let's give each other more time to make memories. Let's also show the world how incredible our brains are at making positive changes in the face of challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, I'll just wait a few moments there for the judges to complete their scorecards. Okay, I'm going to introduce our next participant, who is the last participant for our first heat. So hello to Nadia Goralski, pursuing a Master's of Science in Computer Science, presenting adaptive coding puzzles. Nadia enjoys hockey, hiking, and camping. Welcome, Nadia.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you feeling?
Pretty good.
Great. Okay, are you all set?
Yep.
Ready to go? Okay, go ahead.
Software is everywhere. We can find it in our computers, mobile phones. It's even made its way into our homes and cars. With this increase in software, comes a need for programmers to design these systems, therefore needing people with a wide variety of programming skills. Developing programming skills is not always easy for students, as it is like learning a new language. In programming, each language has a specific syntax, or rules on how things are written to perform certain tasks. In introductory programming courses, students generally focus on learning a single language with the fundamental concepts. However, many people who are new to programming struggle with learning the syntax of the language alongside learning the concepts taught in class. So how can we help them learn? We can use scaffolding techniques, which can be used to bring up a student's skill in an area like programming. There are also a number of scaffolding techniques which exist, and one of them is known as Parsons problems. Now, I'm sure many of you have done puzzles in your life where you're giving a picture with a mixed up bunch of pieces to complete that picture. And these puzzles can be easy or difficult depending on the number of pieces or even the design on the box. We can think of Parsons problems just like a puzzle. Students are given a programming problem along with mixed up blocks of codes with the user must rearrange to actually form a correct solution. So this allows the students not to actually worry about the syntax or typos, which may occur when coding on their own, which is great for beginners. Like puzzles, we can increase the difficulty by adding distractors, which are pieces of code that look like a correct piece of code, but are changed slightly to actually bring up awareness and make them more aware of the syntax as they progress in difficulty. However, the range of programming skills in introductory programming courses can vary for those who've never coded before to those who've had some experience or a little bit more experience. We can also see a disconnect between actually bridging the gap between Parsons problems and advancing to write their own code. This is where my research comes in, looking to actually bridge that gap. I'm introducing what I'm calling adaptive Parsons problems, where we introduce different levels of difficulty in the application, with the final one being code. So in the first couple levels, there'll be some shorter problems with no distractors, allowing beginners to ease their way in, and they become longer with more distractors, working your way up to code. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadia. Okay, our judges will now take a few moments to complete this lesson. Okay, so thank you so much to all of our participants from Heat 1. You did it. You all did a great job. So now we're just going to take our first break for the day, and we're going to start our second heat at 10:15.